Welcome to Thursday Yoga. We'll start today sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position. Just to clarify, I have a hip injury, so I'm not able to sit fully cross-legged. If you see me ever doing something that doesn't look like what I'm asking you to do, I'm sorry for the confusion. Follow what I'm doing, okay? So why don't we go ahead and pull the flesh of the buttocks back behind the sit bones, just to help us ground a little bit more through the bones. You might just close your eyes even and really feel how the bones are able to connect with the earth, the ground below you. Almost like the bones are moving through the flesh to sink into the ground. Perhaps letting all the fleshy parts relax to allow that. You might also feel the weight of the shoulders relaxing down. Again, just letting a sense of heaviness take over. So you don't have to do the relaxation, you just have to allow it. Allow the weight of the shoulders to drop. And then we'll contrast that downward releasing by lifting up through the crown of the head and feeling the spine elongate. So I like the image of a giant rock with a helium balloon tied to it with a string. You can imagine your head is the helium balloon and your spine is the string being pulled taut. And of course, the rock doesn't budge, sinks down through the buttocks. Then you can let the belly fall open and relax as you feel the breath fill into the softened belly on the inhale and release out on the exhale. And then we'll expand the breath so that after the belly is filled with breath, the ribs and solar plexus expand and breathe, shrinking back in as you exhale. And then we'll complete the breath, breathing into the belly until it's full, expanding the ribs all the way, and then breathing up into the heart, feeling the chest rise. And then on the exhale, releasing out from the chest, the ribs, the belly. And then drop the chin to the chest. And see if you can drop the chin without rounding the back. So what may be helpful is on the inhale to think of the chest rising up to meet the chin. And on the exhale, the chin releasing down to meet the chest. And then turn your attention to the back of the body. And you can imagine that you're breathing in that same breath from bottom to top, but you're feeling it rising up the back of your body, all the way up into the back of your neck. And then with the chin still down, move it over to the left shoulder. Place the right arm behind your back with the palm facing out and move that right hand as far over to the left as possible. And then press the back side of the hand into your body to roll the elbow and shoulder back, releasing the chin down toward that left shoulder. And then as you breathe your deep breath, just see where it registers in your body. And bring your head center, chin to chest. Lift the head up. Release that right arm. Bring it across your chest. Pull it in with your left hand. Flex at the wrist. So the right arm is going across the chest. The left hand is just pulling the arm in toward you. You're flexing at the wrist. And look over your right shoulder. So your right hand is making like a stop, kind of. You can really try to stretch your fingers by straightening them. And then stay connected to the breath, moving slowly. The intention to breathe belly, rib, chest remains, except with each shape that the container for the breath assumes, the breath may land in different places than belly, ribs, chest. And you can just bring some curiosity to that, seeing where you actually feel the breath in each position. And release the hands, bring the head back to center, and drop the chin down. And then move the chin over to the right shoulder, keeping it down at the chest, chin to the right shoulder. And then we'll bring the left arm behind the back as far over to the right side as you can, keeping the chin down and to the right. Press the back side of the left hand into your body so that you can roll the elbow and shoulder back. Beautiful. Very nice. Where does the breath go now? Bring the head back to center. Release that left arm, bring it across the chest. Pull it in with the right hand. Flex at the wrist so that the hand is like stop. And then look over your left shoulder. Really try to straighten those left fingers. Maybe if the eyes are closed, you can stay a little more connected to the internal experience, which is really the only thing that matters. We're not looking to look a certain way. The appearance just helps us get into the position that helps us get the internal experience that's most useful. Release the head, the arms, and then inhale and reach the arms up. And exhale, fold over your legs, resting the hands down in front of you, dropping the head. And then notice what's going on in the arms. Are the elbows locked? Can you unlock the elbows? Can you just let the elbows be have a little bit of slack in them? So if the arms are straight, then that means the elbows are locked. So see if you can just have the tiniest little bend in the elbows, even if it means bringing the arms closer to you. And then feel the breath moving from the bottom of the torso to the top. As you exhale, draw the navel toward the spine. And maybe see if you can let go in the arms and hands. Maybe let the elbows bend a little more. Maybe see if the weight of your torso might fall forward, even if it's not comfortable. That's a big part of what we're doing here is moving outside of our comfort zone. So once we can take our bodies outside of the comfort zone, then we start to breathe deeply into that new base level until it becomes our new comfort zone. So always trying to expand the comfort zone out more and more. Increased range of motion and increased availability for life. With every exhale, letting go a little more, relaxing into the weight and the gravity that might take you forward. And it's okay if you don't go any more forward. It's more about relaxing into it, letting go of the resistance, letting go of the tension, becoming able to be here with a full breath. And then walk the hands in, roll yourself up, reach the arms up, inhale, and exhale the arms down. Notice the cross of your legs, which leg is in front or on top of the other, and then release the legs and shake them out. Maybe the knees might enjoy a little bit of a rub if they get stiff from sitting that way for so long. None of us are as young as we used to be. Okay. And then when you're ready, cross the legs again with the opposite leg in front. And if it might serve you to pull the flesh of your buttocks back, again, go ahead and do that. Sitting nice and tall, feeling that helium balloon floating up just as the giant boulder is sinking down. And then we'll bring the left hand to the ground beside us. We're going to make big circles with the right arm and let the eyes follow the thumb. And then just see for you where the inhale makes the most sense in relation to the movement. Not as a mental process, just as an organic experience. And then reverse the circles. And we'll just take that right arm and bring it overhead toward the left side. Press into your left hand and sink down through your right sit bone. Bend your left elbow so your left shoulder can come down. And then take a deep breath and stretch out of the fingertips, the right fingertips. See if you can turn your gaze up and to the right, if that's okay on your neck. Otherwise, down is fine. And then with each exhale, see if you might find the ability to sink a little bit. Maintaining pressure in the left hand so that that right sit bone is nice and grounded. Reaching through the fingers as you inhale. And inhale, lift up. And exhale that right hand down to the ground beside you. Put weight into that hand. And we'll circle the left arm around, letting the eyes follow the thumb. Letting the movement coordinate with the breath in whatever way makes sense to your body. Not to your head, to your body. And then we'll reverse the circles. And then when the arm comes overhead, leave it there. And then we'll bend that right elbow just enough so that the shoulder can drop down away from the ear. Yay, Michael's back. And then press the right hand into the ground so that the left sit bone can sink. And then you can feel the distance between the left fingers and the left sit bone lengthening as you inhale and reach. As you exhale, see if you can sink to the right. And as with the last side, the gaze is turned up and to the left, or if that's not workable, down is fine. Explore the fullest capacity of your breath possible. So you're going to get to a point where you're reaching your comfort zone, where your breath is going to do the same semi-shallow breath that it's used to doing. And you're just going to stretch yourself. You're going to keep the breath pouring in. So that you're challenging the capacity of your breath. And in so doing, you're also stretching yourself open from the inside. And we'll inhale and lift up, taking both arms up. And exhale, fold forward, dropping the head, dropping the body, bending the elbows any amount, just so that they're not rigid and there's some room to move. Good. And then just breathe up the length of your body. When you exhale, draw the belly in toward the spine, allowing the weight of the body to surrender to the natural letting go of an exhale. So notice if the arms are working, they're holding you up or holding you back, and see if you can let go of the arms. They don't need to do a thing. Sometimes it's helpful to send the signal to the arms not to work by turning the palms to face up instead of down. And let whatever discomforts or challenges just kind of be there in the background as you focus on the breath in the foreground. And then make your way up slowly. Reach the arms up, inhale, and exhale down. Coming back to the movement of the breath. And see if your mind is able to follow the movement of the breath, even as we move in a kind of disconnected way from the breath, just by bringing yourself onto hands and knees. So it's not like a rhythmic movement that you can associate with the breath, and yet, can you still feel the breath as you come to hands and knees? So I invite you to place your hands under your shoulders. If you like to be on fists instead of hands, that's also fine. We're going to have the spine straight to begin. And we're just going to move the hips from side to side. And you might feel like moving them side to side, rather than creating a line, you're creating like the shape of a smile. So the hips kind of go right and up and then go left and up. And then when the hips go left, you look over your left shoulder. When the hips go right, you look over your right shoulder. Imagine that you're moving the hip toward the shoulder and the shoulder toward the hip, like you're shortening one side and lengthening the other side. Okay. And then come back to neutral. Walk the hands over to the right, as far as they'll go. And then on an inhale, press down into your left arm. And here we are going to keep the arm straight and locked. We're going to inhale and press down into the ground with the left arm. And then exhale, see if you can go a little further. Then reach the right hand back and grab hold of your heel if you can. If you don't reach the heel, you can grab anywhere that you can reach. And if you happen to be able to reach your far heel, you can do that. Let your head relax down. And then again, inhale, push down into that left arm and hand. And then as you exhale, give a little pull with the right hand, bringing yourself a little bit further into it. Inhale, left arm pressing down. Feel how the breath feels. Exhale, right hand gives a little pull. And just continue like that. I invite you to close your eyes so that you can feel the internal experience of this. I find that when I'm really feeling how the breath enters my body, I become more aware of the fact that there's more room inside of me to breathe, that the inhale hasn't fully completed itself, and I could take in a little more air and expand a little more. Release the right hand, walk both hands back to center, and then over to the left. Going as far as you can go initially. And then we'll take a deep breath in and push down with the right hand and arm. And then see if maybe on the exhale you can go a tiny bit further. Now reach the left hand back for the left heel if you can reach it, if not the left leg, or maybe even the right heel. Good. And then as you inhale, press down with the right hand. Exhale, give a little pull with the left, going a little bit deeper to the side. And then just continue like that, pressing and moving any amount, even if it's a micro movement that's not visible. And release the hand, come back to center. Hands under the shoulders. Again, fists or palms, as you wish. And then we'll move with the breath. Inhaling, dropping the belly down. Breathing up into the chest as the chest lifts and the eyes reach up. Exhaling, tailbone comes down. Belly lifts up. Head comes down. And then just continue like that. Letting the inhale complete itself, letting the exhale complete itself, and letting the movement follow the pace of the breath. So if you finish the movement, but the inhale still has more room, just still complete the breath. Let the breath be the guide, not the movement. And it's a continual movement. It's not one movement and then one movement. It's gradual. So you start at the tailbone and then one vertebra at a time. Remove the spine. So the spine is just the sum of its parts. We think of moving the spine, but we're actually moving all the different vertebrae. And then come back to neutral, please. And walk the hands forward. resting down on either the forehead, the chin, or the cheek. You want to keep the elbows straight, even if that means they're not on the ground. They probably won't be on the ground, and that's perfect. And then you want to have the hips in line with the knees. So, Kelly, you want to move your hips like a foot more forward. Yep. And then walk your hands forward and come down. Exactly. And then with each exhale, you want to drop the back into the chest and drop the chest into the floor. Notice the challenge to your breath this shape might present, and see if you can continue to intend to breathe 3-part breath. And then bring the hands in, press into them to lift yourself up and round your back. Walk the hands in even more, rolling yourself up so that you're standing on your knees. And place the left hand on the belly and the right hand on the chest. Coming back to just the simplicity of the breath from belly to chest. Then we'll release the left hand and bring it to the back heel. And if you don't reach the left heel, then try curling your toes under to see if you can maybe then reach the left heel. And if the only way you can reach the heel is by bending forward, then don't do it. I'll give you an alternative. The idea is we want to be bending backward. So if you don't reach the heel without bending forward, just bring your hand to your hip. And then lean back, lift the chest, feel the breath coming into that right hand. And then take the right arm up. Try to have the hips in front of you so that the chest is kind of behind the hips. How is it to breathe in this position? Is it harder, easier, the same? Okay, and then lift yourself up. Bring that right hand to the belly, left hand to the chest. Breathing from hand to hand. And trying to maintain this same breath, even as the shape might make it a little more challenging. So first we'll take the right hand, we'll try to find the right heel. And if you can't reach it, try curling the toes under. And if you still can't reach it without bending forward, just bring your hand to your hip. Send your hips forward, send your chest up, your eyes up, your head back. Breathe into your left hand. And then send that left arm up and continue to breathe into where the hands were. Forward, chest up, head back. And lift yourself up. Bring your hands back to your belly and your chest. Then release the hands to the ground, taking them over to the left side. And then step the right foot up. And then bring your hands back so that one hand is on either side. You want to have the right foot far enough forward so that when you sink your hips down, your knee lines up over your ankle. And we're going to aim that left hip for that right ankle. And then see how it feels to draw your right foot and your left knee toward each other. See how it feels to breathe from belly to chest. Letting the exhales sink the hip down a little bit more. And then walk the hands back as you straighten the front leg. Let the foot lift up. And then point and flex that foot. Point and flex, point and flex. Pull the toes in, press the toes down. And then hold the flex position. Take a breath in and look up. Keep looking up and exhale and try to lay your belly down onto your right leg, keeping one hand on either side of the leg. And then go ahead and drop the head. And then check in with your hands and arms. If you can bend the elbows, bend the elbows. You can take weight out of your hands so they're just lightly touching down for balance. That would be ideal. Again, we're looking for surrender. So the more you're holding yourself in the pose, the less you're able to just let yourself go in the posture. And it may be uncomfortable and it may feel difficult. And then you can just focus on your breath, letting the sensations move into the background of your awareness as the breath comes into the foreground. Seeing if that focus on the breath might help you relax a little bit more into the exhalation. Okay, lift your head, bring that right hand to the inside, and send the right knee back. Hands come a little bit over to the right side so that you can set the left foot up. And then you want the foot to be far enough forward so that when you bend into that front knee, so the left knee is bent. The left knee is bent and the hips are dropping down. We'll bring one hand on either side of the foot. Good. And now we're going to aim that right hip for the left ankle. And kind of let that right hip release down and forward. That looks great. And then just see how it feels to draw the right knee and the left heel toward each other. Check in with your breath. Is the breath going into places different than it does when we're just sitting neutral, upright, breathing belly, ribs, chest? Do you feel any influence on the breath created by the shape? And then send the hips back so that that left leg is straight. And then we'll point and flex the foot, pressing toes down, pulling toes in. If you don't reach the ground, hopefully you have some props that you can hold on to. It's not important to reach the ground, it's purely for balance. And then hold the foot in the flex position. Inhale, look up. Keep looking up. Exhale, lay the belly down toward the thigh. And then release the head down. So, can you be with the discomfort of the stretch? Can you not resist it with your hands and arms and instead exhale all the air out and really let the weight of your torso fall forward over your leg? Long, deep inhale, long, slow exhale. And then lift your head, bring that left hand to the inside of your leg. Bring the left knee back. Walk the hands in again, coming back up to standing on the knees. We're going to come this time into our full expression of the pose. So let's bring the hands either way on the belly and the chest. Breathe from belly to chest. And then take the belly hand either onto the heel, curling the toes under if you need to, or onto the hip if you don't reach the heel. Beautiful. Then we'll take the hand off the chest and bring it to the other heel or the other hip. Send the hips forward. So if your hands are on the heels, your hips are automatically going to be sent forward. So if your hands are on your hips, you have to make the effort to bring the hips forward, drop the head back. You can bring the elbows toward each other. And try, whichever version you're in, try to breathe belly, ribs, chest. Bring one hand onto the belly. Slowly lift yourself up. Sit on your heels and extend your arms overhead as you lower your head toward the ground. Try to push forward with your hands and send your sit bones back toward your heels. Breathe all the way in and all the way out. And we'll turn it into a full body stretch, lifting the buttocks off the heels. Keep your hands where they are. Don't bring them closer to you. Just leave them where they are. Come all the way up onto hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide. Curl the toes. Take a breath in. And then exhale. Lift the knees. Push the hands forward. Press the thighs back. Press the heels down. Release the chest. Drop the head. And imagine that you're trying to shift the weight from your hands to your heels. So as you push forward through your fingertips, maybe you can feel how the hips move back and the heels drop down. Maybe see what it's like for you in your body. Just want to maintain that forward pressure through the fingers. Breathing belly, ribs, chest. Shoulders roll down the back. Elbows roll down toward the floor. 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, walk the feet up to the hands, bend the knees, tuck the chin, and roll yourself up. Reaching up through the arms as you inhale, and releasing the arms down as you exhale. Feet are hip width apart. We'll lift the toes, spread them as wide as we can, and lower them back down. Unlock the knees. Bring weight into the outer edges of your feet. Relax the shoulders. Lift through the head. I'm going to give you 2 options. One will be a balance and the other won't, so you decide. So if you want to not do the balance, you'll step your right leg back and you'll take the arms out to the side and then twist to the left. If you want to do the balance, you'll take weight into your right foot. You'll lift your left leg. Either take the hand to the knee. So we're just staying in the twist. We're not going from side to side. We're just staying in the twist to the left. Just staying there. To the left. Just twisting to the left and staying there. So you're either holding the knee, or for those of you who can and want, you can also straighten the leg. And we're similarly turning to the left. If you're in the non-balance, you might find that squeezing your inner thighs together helps you go a little bit further into the twist. See if you can lengthen up through the crown of your head as you inhale and turn as you exhale. Come back to the center. Step the feet together or side by side. And if you're doing the non-balancing version, then you'll step your right leg back. Is that the one we just did? No, your left leg back. Sorry. Yeah. And if you're doing the twist, you'll start by spreading your toes and lowering them. Lifting the right leg, taking the left hand to the outside of the knee or to the foot, and straightening the leg if that's doable. And then we'll all turn to the right. Arms extended, looking over that right shoulder, lifting tall through the crown of the head. If you're in the non-balance variation, you might, I don't know, I'm not in your body, just offering you the possibility that squeezing the inner thighs together might be helpful. See for yourself. Staying centered on the breath. And then coming back to the front, releasing the legs, and then dropping the chin, bending the knees, and rolling all the way down to the ground and onto the buttocks. Once you get to the buttocks, come onto your back. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. And maybe you want to rest your hands on your inner thighs just as a suggestion for them to relax. Maybe you want to imagine that you're breathing into the space between your hands. And if this is a comfortable position for you and you want to stay like this for our final relaxation, feel free. If not, you'll lift your knees and plant your feet, lift your hips and tuck your tailbone, and then release your legs and shake them out. And if you're working with an eye pillow, you can place that on your eyes now. And then we'll let the arms rest out away from the body. Closing the eyes if you can. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Release the weight of the body into the ground. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, softening through the lips. And inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the activity of the mind. So that's not to say that thoughts or images aren't going to come. We're just not going to let them stay. So they're just going to come and they're going to keep passing through. If the mind has the intention not to follow them, they'll keep on going. And the mind can come to the feeling of the breath. So as you notice your breath in your body, see if you're controlling your breath, and then see if you'd like to just let it go so that the breath is happening without your help, like it always does when we're not aware of it. So finding that balance between staying aware of the breath and interested in the breath without controlling it. And then if the mind wanders, no problem. The minute that you notice that the mind has wandered, you've come out of being lost in thought. You're actually aware of what the mind is doing. So at that moment, you can redirect your attention to the breath. And just keep coming back again and again. Deeply relaxed. Letting go. Letting go. letting go. Breathe into your heart. Move the fingers on the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest. Rocking side to side. Feel the ground massaging your back as you move. Come center. Bring the bottoms of the feet to touch. The palms together. Rub hand to hand and foot to foot. Waking energy up in the body. And then roll over onto your side, either one. Resting your head on your underside arm. Resting your body on the ground. Feeling the heaviness, feeling the lightness. How much can you just rest in this moment? And then with your free hand, press into the ground to lift yourself up sideways. So you're going to keep the free hand on the ground in front of you. So, and then just press into it to lift yourself up sideways. Coming into any comfortable seated position. Allowing the sit bones to sink down just as we did at the beginning of class. And that helium balloon head to rise up. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale the hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale the shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in Thursday Yoga. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week.